Hey students, I welcome you all on the amazing platform of learning which is Edvironment. Now we'll continue our further topic which we left behind. Actually, the topic which we have started earlier about India and relief features. So it was just an introduction part as we discussed earlier. So in this section we were going to the lesson and the important part of that. So today we will dive into the important topics. But before that, I wanted to make one thing clear to everyone. So first of all, we were discussing about the latitudes and longitudes. So we have to clear that topic. Actually, we left this topic in the middle. So I wanted to repeat this with just a few examples and just few kind of clarification. I mean to say. So as we have discussed earlier, so it is the Greenwich and it is 0 degrees is the equator. So this is equator and this is the Greenwich. And as I said yesterday that the topmost part of the globe will be south and the bottom part will be the topmost part will be the north and the bottom part will be south. When it comes to western east, we know very well to the left of west and to the right of east. So we were actually discussing about the time zones, right? We're actually discussing about time zones. So it's very easy to point out, or it is very easy to figure out like how the time zones are, and how can we point out that, or how can we figure out that. So I'll tell you an easy method to find out all the time zones and how to calculate that and how to follow this in the questions wherever you will get. Okay, so first of all, it is clear to everyone that this is north, this is south, this is west, and this is east. So I said you one thing that when we are moving from west to east, we have to add. When you are moving from east to west, we have to subtract the time from the Greenwich. So let's say you are moving from Greenwich to 15 degrees to the east, to the eastern longitude, and then to 30 degrees eastern longitude, and then 45 degrees eastern longitude. Let's say we are moving in this pattern to the side of east. So now I said you one thing that one degree is equals to actually 4 minutes. In the sense you have to multiply and you have to get the answer and all those things, it may be somewhat complicated to you. So I'll simplify one thing. When you move from 0 degrees to 15 degrees, it is the exact time of 1 hour. It is the exact time of 1 hour. So now you can add on 15 more degrees from here. So like 15 from 15 to, if you're moving from 15 to 30, then 30 to 45, and all those things, if you go on adding, you can understand very easily like how this is working. So let's see, first of all, if you're moving from 0 degrees to 15 degrees, so there will be a time gap of 1 hour. And same, if you're moving from 15 degrees to 30 degrees, here also there is a gap of 1 hour. Then if you're moving from 0 degrees to 45 degrees, here also there is a gap of 1 hour. Hence I said you that the IST of India, or the Indian Standard Time of India, is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich. 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich. Okay, so this is the concept we have learned yesterday. Now we'll directly move to the topic. I hope this is clear to everyone. If not, you can comment me below so that we can clarify all the things what we have to learn further. Yes, so yesterday we are discussing about the various time zones. So this is very important to know that if we are know to find, or if we want to find out the exact time of our country, this will lead us and confusion, right? It will lead us a confusion to us. So that is the reason we actually took IST at 82 degrees 30 minutes. So I'll tell you the reason. Because we know that for one country there will be a time zone, there will be only one time zone. But when it comes to India, you very well know that Indian coordinates in eastern longitude starts from 68 degrees 7 minutes to 97 degrees 25 minutes. So I said if that this will lead a problem to the country. If you move towards the side of east here, the country's time compared to the west region, here it will be 2 hours ahead, and for the western states it will be 2 hours delay. So it is very complicated thing here. So that is the reason we actually adopted a standard IST here, that is 82 degrees 30 minutes. So how you can get this, I'll tell you. Simply you have to add 68 degrees, and whatever the two eastern longitudinal values are there, simply you need to add them. Let's say if you add this value, and if you add this value, if you add this value, and if you add both the values, what you have to do after adding, you have to divide by 2 by adding the first value, and by adding the second value you have to divide by 2, and whatever your result is there, that result is actually redirecting to the IST, or in short, Indian Standard Time. So here our confusion will be solved. Why actually we adopted, and why actually we draw the line from this region. So this is the reason, to avoid the confusion within the country of two time zones, we actually need to draw the Indian Standard Time with 82 degrees and 30 minutes coordinates. Okay, so I hope this will be clear to everyone. Now we will move to the further topic. So we will see some geographical background of our formation of Indian landmass. So it might be very interesting to know that how actually the entire Indian landmass is created. Okay, but to get to know about this one, we need to move to your some concepts of ninth, so that it will be clear to you like how the Indian landmass created. Even if you concentrated somewhat at your ninth standard, you may be having an idea about Gondwana and Angara or Laurasia. So these are the giant land masses which were formed from Pangea. So you have an idea about this one. Even if not, I'll take you to the ninth class concepts. Hey students, you can look out here. See, actually, whatever the entire landmass were there, the complete landmass, it was known as Spangia, or simply what we pronounce Pangea. Later, there was a split in this one, and this landmass is actually splitted into two subgroups with the help of Tethys Sea, which is passing and dividing the landmass into two. Now, the first one is which is formed as Laurasia, or simply we call it Angara, Laurasia, and the second one which is formed, we call it Gondwana, and obviously Gondwana is the giant land from which our Indian landmass is originated. But it is very fascinating to know that how actually the Indian landmass took or formed different landforms. We will get to know about one by one. So you have to observe carefully here. First of all, there was a giant landmass which is Pangea. Later, the Pangea is divided into or splitted into two broad giant land masses, which are Angara or Laurasia, and the next one is, or the further one is, Gondwana. And Indian landmass was also the part of Gondwana. So we will move to the concepts of 10th now. So I hope this is very clear to everyone. If not, once again, you have to do one thing. You have to uh, take a pause here and you can read it properly. So one more information, I'm trying to reconnect here. So this is actually the theory of movement of earth crust, which is actually presented by a German meteorologist who was Alfred Wegener. Alfred Wegener actually introduced the movement of the giant landmass, or simply we can say earth crust. Whatever the earth crust was there, he explored the theory behind the movement of earth crust. So he was Alfred Wegener. So you need to remember this one. It is very important in term of geography. And one more thing, I forgot to tell you. Actually, Pangaea, I already tell you that it's a large land, or it is saying here whole land. Whole land in the sense the large land. Okay. So now we will observe some geographical background of our Indian landmass, like how the things were formed and how the Himalayan mountains are formed. So if you observe here, these are the Himalayan mountains, and the story of, or the process of forming of these Himalayan mountains is very fascinating to know. So let us dive into the topic without wasting any time. So just now you have seen that actually whatever the entire land mass was there, or whatever the entire land is there, we call it Pangaea. We call it Pangea or Pangaea. Later it was split. It was splitted into two giant land masses. The above one was Angara and the lower one was Gondwana. The lower one was Gondwana with the help of Tethisi. With the help of Tethisi. So this is very clear to everyone. Now our question is, we have to find out about the formation of Indian landmass. So whatever the Indian landmass is there, that we have to find out, like what are the process was involved in the formation of Indian landmass. So we very well know that there were two different blocks are here, or two different broad land areas are here, which were actually splitted by the Tethys Sea. So now with the gradual movement of the Gondwana here, whatever the peninsular plateau of India was there, the peninsular plate was collided into the northeastern side of the Eurasian plate. In the northeastern side of Eurasian plate, in the sense Angara region. In the sense Angara region. So has the Eurasian plate collided with the peninsular plate of Gondwana, there we can form, or we can find the formation of huge mountains. There is formation of huge mountains with the collision of these plates. So the huge mountains were formed, and these huge mountains later named as Himalayas. So now you can find out that Himalayas are actually formation of massive collision. They are formation of massive collision. Himalayas are formation of massive collision. So this is how our Indian landmass is formed. Our Indian landmass is, so this is how the Indian landmass is formed. But the question is, sir, what do you mean by the peninsular region, and what is that peninsular plate, and what is that Gondwana region is collided into the Eurasian plate? What these things are? So first of all, let me clarify what is actually a peninsular region. See, peninsular region is one which is actually covered by three sides of water, and from the one side which is attached to the mainland. So where is the mainland here? You can point out remaining all the countries. You can point out here. Since starting from here, you can get Pakistan, here Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet, and the China. And following to this side, we have Myanmar, and so many countries there. And here Bangladesh. So whatever the region left over here, which is actually in touch with the sea or ocean, this region is known as peninsular region. This region is known as peninsular region. This region is known as peninsular region, whereas it is covered with three sides of water and attached to one side of mainland. Attached to one side of mainland. This is what we call our country, a peninsular country, a peninsular country. And one more thing I'll clarify here only. The rivers which are actually flowing into this region are known as peninsular rivers, or known as peninsular rivers. Peninsular rivers. The rivers which are flowing into the peninsular region are known as peninsular rivers. So one more topic we need to clarify here, like when the Indian landmass is formed, at that time there was a large basins were created. Basins in the sense, I'll tell you here in an easy way. So you may have observed the sink. Yeah, the sink which you heard right, the sink where we do hand wash. Yes or not? You may have seen that, right? It's a basin. So this basin actually, from the both the edges, it is filled with some gradients or filled with some ingredients or whatever the soil and rocks are there. But the middle portion is empty. So this middle portion need to be filled now. Yes. So how this is happened? So this is filled by the Himalayan rivers. This is filled by Himalayan rivers. Himalayan rivers carried some silt or some sediment or silt, in the sense some pebbles, small rocks, and all those things. So this will help to form or to take the proper shape of basins which is filled by the Himalayan rivers. And same thing happen into the peninsular region of India. In the peninsular region of India, so here also peninsular rivers formed the basin region of peninsular region of India. Peninsular rivers formed the peninsular region of India or filled the basin of peninsular region. So it might be clear to everyone. So as we are talking about peninsula, you have to know about island also, whereas island is covered with four sides of water. We know this very well. Yes. But when it comes to peninsula is actually covered by three sides of water, and one side it is attached with the mainland. So this will be very clear to everyone now. As we have completed very little portion of the chapter, now there is a kind of quick reminder to everyone. So you need to focus on the two lines here, or the two longitudes. What they are, I'll tell you. First of all, you need to focus on the IST. So you have to point out from how many states IST is passing through. You have to note down and let me know in the comment box below. So if I when I upload the next video, there you have to match your answers. And one more thing you have to do is, you have to point out from how many states the Tropic of Cancer is also passing. From how many states the Tropic of Cancer is also passing. So these are the two important things you need to know very clearly. So these are important from the perspective of map pointing during your board exams. I hope you enjoyed the video. So you need to subscribe the channel so that you shouldn't miss the upcoming updates from the channel. Thank you, students. Stay motivated. do hard work and chase your dreams. Chase your dreams.